So today we have Alejandro Rioja with us today. How are you doing, Alejandro?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So please tell me who you are and what your company does.
Yeah, I am actually originally from Bolivia. I came to the
Okay.
US a few years ago, and I started my first company called Flux Ventures
Okay.
a few years ago. Basically, what we do is we have a set of different websites. One of them was Flux Chargers, which was an e-commerce company. We uh, ran the company for a few years, and now we moved into different things. The latest project that I think most people will be interested in is called Feature Sharks, which is a
Mhm.
blog where we interview people. We have people share their stories, and we now have, we partner with PR agencies and also entrepreneurs, helping them reach a lot more people through our platforms. We have 7 different sites on that.
Okay. And so how did you get into that?
Um, Funny enough, I on my personal blog, alejandrorioja.com, I was writing a lot on growth, and
Hmm.
I was trying to grow my website, and I would spend a lot of time writing these guides, maybe like 8 hours,
Wow.
and I would share it on my Facebook, and because they were sort of like very niched, and my friends on Facebook weren't necessarily like all into growth, it would
Hmm.
get like 10 likes at most. But when I would get interviewed on different podcasts or different or websites, it would get over 100 likes, tons of traffic and stuff like that, just because it had my face in it. So I
Mm.
said, maybe I can interview other people on my blog and see if that helps me get traffic. At the time, I was trying to get traffic to earn money through AdSense. So I started interviewing some of my entrepreneur friends, and that caught on, and a lot of people, got excited about that. And I do SEO and other sort of growth promotion techniques. So they got a lot of good views. And I said, well, maybe I can start a separate domain and interview people and kind of build in all the best practices for SEO and sharing into them to kind of help that viral loop get started.
Okay. So kind of just from personal experience and figured, well, seems like I can build this and make some money off of it.
Yeah, yeah. And mostly like what I was interested in was how can I get the most sort of like eyeballs on a particular
Hmm.
project, and the ability to have someone naturally share the content. If you go on my site, you may not share it because it's not about you or it doesn't really help you.
Hmm.
But if it's a post about you, you will go and share it with your friends, and your friends might like it, and kind of create that loop.
Hmm. And it builds from there. And so, like you mentioned, you have a lot of different websites. Can you kind of briefly tell us about those and their significance and why also so many?
Yeah, I have 13 different websites.
Okay.
Counted, and my first website was my personal website, which I mentioned was a lot about growth. And in growth, I like to do different experiments. And you really can't do an experiment or multiple experiments in one site at the same time. So
Hmm.
I created different sites to create different experiments or different
Okay.
verticals. When I was doing AdSense, for example, on my site, I noticed that a lot of the high paying keywords were in the finance and insurance space. So I
Hmm.
created a site for that, and I started like testing different ideas and stuff like that. I use them sort of as my test bed for these different projects that I have. So that's one. It's called theinsurancenerd.com.
Okay.
Uh, I mentioned Future Sharks, and we have similar sites like Future Sharks, Total
Okay.
Boss. We have Crypto Times, Authority Daily, and they're just different niches of the same sort of flavor. Um,
Okay.
and then we have other sites, like I mentioned, our e-commerce website, Flux Chargers, where we were trying to do grow organically and through paid ads and Amazon and stuff like that. So a lot of that, in a nutshell, a lot of it comes from me trying to experiment,
Hmm.
seeing what works and what doesn't. Um, I share a lot of like the learnings on my blog of like what you know. I try to
Hmm.
experiment. Let's see if that works and stuff like that. And eventually, um, the sites grew to a point where they are beneficial to each other now. So
Mm, okay.
if I want to launch a 14th site, I already have some traffic in a particular niche. So I can cross promote it, a link from it on the homepage, et cetera, and get a lot of organic traffic at the start, and kind of get it started.
Okay, so it's almost like your way of, like you said, organizing all your experiments, and I'm sure too it also serves a way for people to kind of keep up with the different things that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like sort of like a proof of concept. Seeing if
Okay.
it works, And then if it works, then I go and share it with my subscribers, my readers, and we can all try it together and stuff like that.
Perfect. I love that. I've never heard of that, using websites the way almost like a folder for all your different experiments. That's ingenious. I love that. So then how do you create fresh opportunities for your customers?
Um, for Future Sharks, for example, I
Hmm.
think the biggest sort of opportunity for them is the ability to get seen on Google.
Okay.
So a lot of the customers that we have are entrepreneurs who are just starting, or entrepreneurs who have kind of like reached their first milestone and now want to
Mm.
reach more people. And they're struggling to get their name or their company name on Google. What comes up is not necessarily in the best light, or it doesn't really showcase them in a sort of authoritative way.
Hmm.
So we built a lot of these different features, Google News, uh, like Google Discover, all the stuff on the
Mm.
platform, so that when someone searches for their name, they come up, and they kind of like
Okay.
follow them around. And because we have the different websites, we can like cross promote the article and reach a lot of people depending on the niche that someone's in. Most we have two different customers. One is an entrepreneur, and the other one is a PR agency. So for
Okay.
the PR agency, we try to solve the bigger issue of kind of pitching and waiting. Uh,
Mm.
so when you go to a PR agency, they're gonna say, we can get you in 5 different placements. We have to pitch your story, wait, work with the editor and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We do the vetting upfront, and then we allow people to kind of like self-serve on our website with sort of like a feature that not many websites have, which
Okay.
is the ability to post from the front end. So you can submit a post, hit enter, and the post goes live right away. Um, so that's a lot of things that people in the PR space like. They
Mm.
don't need to wait. They can guarantee a placement to their customers, and yeah, it's pretty streamlined as well.
Yeah, so like you said, I definitely, people can be a little impatient. They definitely want their stuff out there and to the most people possible. So it sounds like you really are fitting that need.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so where do you leverage then flexibility to continue to think outside of the box? Like you said, I'm sure you have a lot of ways since you experiment a lot.
Um, I one of the things that I learned throughout the years is just kind of like keeping an eye on my customers and keeping an ear to my customers. So like I always talk to them and see what else do you need,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day they're paying the bills. So I talk to them regularly, especially to the top three customers. Uh,
Hmm.
I have calls with them every month, and I say, have you
Okay.
seen any other functionality or anything else? Have you seen on a different website you work with, different provider, publisher? And they say, yeah, I saw this. So then I put it on my Asana, get it prioritized, and then we build it. So we're either building feature parity with other companies, or we're trying to innovate in the things that I mentioned there. And I try to read different blogs and stuff like that and see like what are they doing better.
Hmm.
Like what could I bring to my site?
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
the uh, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So in a way, you're kind of able to just go outside of yourself. I'm sure your customers love that you reach out, especially monthly and so consistently to, get their feedback and see ways that you can do better. I'm sure that really kind of creates that rapport and that great relationship.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm big on data, so I like to have some reports internally as well to see, you know, like usually the numbers can tell me
Mm-hmm.
another part of the picture. Like if they're spending more, they're spending less, or if they're spending more time on the site,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's because of something. So that's
Okay.
how we've been discovering the new niches that we work in. So we started Future Sharks. We saw that there was a lot of influencers
Mm-hmm.
on the space that wanted to get press, so we did So Influential, and then we kind of kept working on that. So I'd say,
Okay.
nutshell, just talk to customers and like see some data.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a combination of the feedback comes from data, but it also comes from the relationships and from word of mouth as well, which I'm sure is a good combination to help you and for your customers.
Yes.
Awesome. So what makes up, your secret sauce? What sets you apart in the industry that you work in?
Um, I'd say my biggest skill is organic growth, or is in
Mm.
particular SEO. I've been doing SEO for 7 years, and that's mainly what has helped me grow on the websites. So I like to understand what is the user intent behind this query. When
Mm-hmm.
someone is searching, how do I grow my online presence?
Okay.
What kind of information and in what way should I present it to them to not only win their trust, but also win their business?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's sort of like the secret sauce. And the way I've developed that secret sauce is just a lot of experimentation. Uh, there's a certain base level of SEO that you can read online, and
Mm-hmm.
then or like the special sauce is just experimenting. And I want to say there's one particular like technique, but just small variations and small sort of wins here and there that kind of like make that leap.
Okay. And so, with so many things that you do, and like you said, experiment with, what are you most passionate about? Like, what is the thing that really just drives you every day, especially as a business owner, but of course as a person as well?
Um, I am big on personal growth as well. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I I only do a few things a day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I go to the gym, I cook, and I mostly work. So
Okay.
I try to define myself by the sort of the goals that I set.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on goals, and I think maybe I can share some insight there. I use this method called OKRs. Are you familiar with them?
Mm-mm.
OKRs stand for objectives and key results. It's
Okay.
a way basically to kind of create goals and align not just yourself, but an entire company or an entire organization.
Okay.
You can think of it as if you're like the owner of a football team, your
Okay.
goal is to win the championship. To make money.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you have to win the championship and also sell as many tickets as you can.
Mm.
Winning the championship goes to the coach, and then selling as many tickets goes to the CMO.
Right.
And the CMO, he kind of breaks it down to their entire team and so on and so forth, such that every small goal ties back to the big goal.
Mm, okay, so the
You can,
OKRs kind of give you like a stepping stones. I feel like it kind of makes it more clear where you're trying to go.
yeah, yeah, and it also helps. So I should mention, I have a team that
Hmm.
I can't handle 13 by
Hmm.
myself. So so yeah, helping everyone in the team see like why that task is there.
Okay.
So when we're building a certain particular functionality, we're building it because it helps the user did something like this that helps eventually get more traffic, etc. Um,
Okay.
so, so I'm passionate about that, and in my personal life, I have a bunch of OKRs as well. Um, I want to do X, and I kind of break it down into
Mm.
specific goals and objectives, um,
Hmm.
and I work on those. Yeah, a particular point in the month of the year or in my life is just different goals,
Okay.
but the overall trend is it's just kind of like goal setting and achieving those goals. Currently, it's the gym and working with finance.
There you go. Okay, so kind of applying that analytical side of you and data and, like you said, concrete goals even to your personal life.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so you had some interviews on Future Sharks. What can we expect from those?
Um, like people being interviewed there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that my favorite part about Future Sharks is the fact that the owners share their own story, and
Okay.
you can learn a lot about their stories. And stories help you connect with someone. Otherwise, everyone's just working on something that's kind of like a little bland. So
Mm-hmm.
someone might have had a rough upbringing, or someone saw an opportunity after they got laid off, or things like that.
Mm.
So one part is the stories, and the other part is the actionable advice. So in the interviews, most entrepreneurs will share like one piece of advice or one tool or something technique that they're using. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I've gotten accustomed to, or I've gotten familiar with a lot of different tools that I didn't know about by conducting these interviews, by reading what they're writing. So I think a lot of people could find some value as well there.
Perfect. And so all the other websites that you have, are we able to find those on alejandrorioja.com?
Um, Sort of. I mean,
Sure.
yes,
Okay.
it will take a while to find them all, but yeah, if you go there and you click at the top where it says "Start here,"
Okay.
that will lead you to the best articles that I have on the site, and yeah, those will be the best ones to read.
Perfect. Well, Alejandro, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.